This is my story of someone who was always just average. Average at studies, average at dance, average at everything that I did. It wasn't that things weren't working out for me. My parents didn't complain, my friends didn't complain, so I was okay with it. And when I started sending out applications to some universities, I was faced with a couple of questions. Questions like my biggest achievement so far, my biggest failure. And yeah, well, I did have quite a long list for the failures, but for the achievements, not so much. And that is when I began to introspect about, is that how it's going to be all my life? Am I just going to be someone average? So I'm somebody who really believes in watching motivational videos. There was something common I observed in all those videos. It was all about people who had hit their rock bottom, people who had lost someone in their life, people who would hit a financial crisis. Basically, they'd hit a point where they had no option but to get back up and change their lives for themselves. What really hits you hard is not when other people show disappointment in you. It's when you're disappointed in yourself. It's when you can't look yourself in the eye because you know you're not the person you wanted to be. That's when I thought to myself, am I waiting to hit my rock bottom? And that's where things changed for me. I didn't want to be that person anymore. I wanted to be a better person. I wanted to unleash my potential. I wanted to know, what am I about? And that's when I decided that I will change. I will do this for myself. And I did put in extra effort. I went that extra mile. I know there were days that I just looked at myself in the mirror and, walk away because I knew I couldn't confront myself. I made a checklist and everything on that checklist was unchecked. Sometimes when you're just stuck in your everyday monotony and you don't have enough time to think about where is this going. And I think every once in a while one should take that pause in their life, just to reflect on life. As in, am I happy with the way things are? Is this what I want? Is there something else I want to explore? I talk to myself very often, and I know it sounds crazy. I don't do it in my head. I actually have a full-on talk with myself where I'm just like, bro, Shivani, are you okay? Is everything going on fine? Did you do all the tasks for the day that you had written down in your diary? There are days where I try to avoid that conversation with myself, but I have to, and I can't lie to myself. This is the biggest part, I think, because if there is another person who you hold accountable for your life, like if somebody else is going to come and ask you, your boss is going to ask you, did you do it, and you will have to be answerable to them. But you can choose to lie, you can choose to make up stuff, you can choose to say something else, but to yourself it's not that easy to lie because you know what you're all about. There are so many decisions throughout the day that didn't go exactly the way you planned they would. There are things you should have prioritized but you didn't. So having that talk with yourself really helps me keep it real. Being accountable for yourself and keeping in touch with yourself is something really important for you to take these small changes in your life and to take those small steps towards things that you really want. If you're someone who feels you're in the middle of the pack, it doesn't mean you have to always be there. It doesn't mean you can't rise to the top. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with being in the middle of the pack. I mean, if that works for you, well and good. But if it doesn't, then you should think about it. What can you do? What can you change about yourself that can help you rise to the top? And nowhere am I saying that it is only academically that you need to do this or you have to prove it to somebody else. It is something that you do for yourself. For me, being one of the toppers of the class in one of the semesters of college, that is what really helped me get that little push that, okay, I got this, so maybe I could take a step further. I think it's about time we decide that do we want someone else to take control of our life or do we want to be the captain of our own ship?